All right, we're back. We're doing a little 3-round mock draft, this time with the Cleveland Browns. We got 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. And Sam, as we know, we've discussed this quite a bit here. Obviously, the Browns at 2. We don't know exactly what they're going to do. The trending pick right now is Travis Hunter after Cam Ward, but we might change that here tonight. We can go through some of these scenarios here for the Browns.
Yeah, it does sound like it's not going to be the Browns that select Shedeur Sanders. The latest report is he's got one last workout with the Giants. Maybe he can swing them into making that draft pick, but it sounds like the Browns are kind of done with the Shedeur Sanders thing. They're on to Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, whoever it is. And Sanders is left with the Giants or the Saints or one of these other teams to try and convince them to grab him up at the top of the draft. But yeah, I think Cleveland to Travis Hunter to Cleveland is becoming the chalky number 2 pick after Cam Ward at number 1.
It is. When the Giants traded or picked up Russell Wilson, I was of the belief that this was for Abdul Carter at 2 for Cleveland. That Abdul Carter to Cleveland made sense, and the Giants would end up with Travis Hunter. That flipped pretty quickly. Are you believing all of that hype that it is Travis Hunter going to Cleveland, who Andrew Berry said, hey, he's probably more of a receiver than a corner, and the Browns are going to get this offensive weapon here who can also play defense at 2?
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't blow my mind if they grabbed Abdul Carter, but I think I think they are between those 2 players. They're down to these 2, blue chip, if you like, players in this draft, passing on the quarterback, and it's sounding like Travis Hunter is going to be the guy that they pick.
All right, before you press the button, because I think, do you want to go Travis Hunter here? That seems to be where things are trending.
Yeah.
Before you press the button, though, do we want to trade back up into the first for anyone? Do we want to slow play the draft, give ourselves the opportunity to trade back up? Or do we want to try that now? Or do we just going to let things play out here?
Well, why don't we click the slow button here and see if we that I don't know how much time that buys us.
Can you and then you just click pause? Let's see if we can watch Shedeur falling and see if we can, because he doesn't go that high. I
don't remember where the pause button is on this, so I'm hoping slow buys us enough time.
I'm putting you on the spot here, but are we just assuming we're gonna? You don't have to go slow. Are we gonna assume we're gonna carry on without Shedeur Sanders here then?
I mean, probably, but let's see what happens.
All right, let's have some fun. Travis Hunter at 2 to the Browns.
No, this gives us plenty of time now. Yeah, we can pause and trade. Perfect. Here we go.
Mason Graham, Abdul Carter. We're just going to sit here and watch it. Will Campbell to the Jags.
I mean, this is good television.
This would be great draft night. Ashton Genty to the Jets. Really throwing some curveballs here. Tyler Warren to the Panthers.
So there's the first potential Shedeur Sanders landing spot. He makes it past New Orleans at 9.
I mean, the way this is falling here, this is wild. This is the worst mock ever.
Well, let's pause it if he gets as far as Pittsburgh at 21 and ask the question, right?
Let's think
where
about
do you start to get interested?
You'd have to leapfrog Pittsburgh, potentially.
Well, no. What my point is, I mean, I don't think they're jumping up as there we go. There he went.
Okay, he went to Seattle. Okay, I was going to say he's really low on the PFF board here, so that's part of the reason that for the long fall.
Jump that back up to fast, and let's fire through some picks.
So now we're sitting here at the top of the second.
Yeah, no, the question I was sort of asking was like, look, he went 18 here. I don't think they're jumping up as far as 18 necessarily to go grab a guy that they passed on at the top of the draft. And I don't think they would do it, to get ahead of Pittsburgh. But if Pittsburgh passed on him, right? Like if that was the scenario we were talking about here, number one, would they even try and come back into the first round at that point? Or would they say, this is a Will Levis situation. He's falling into the second round when we thought he might go at the top of the draft. And let's just wait, be patient and grab him at the top of the second. Or, is there a number that he can slide to in the first round where they will say, okay, now it's worth jumping up 5 spots to try and make this happen?
Yeah, because if he gets past Pittsburgh, who are you competing with?
Right.
Maybe the Rams. Maybe the Rams want the developmental player. Or the Giants are trading back.
Yeah, or the next team to do, what you're doing.
Right. So that's who you're competing with. So we're sitting here at pick 33. Travis Hunter, already have him. I mean, we can manipulate the trade simulator and trade down and get more picks. I think you can kind of cheat a little bit, or we could just make a pick. But we always hear about round 2, baby. It's the hottest pick. It doesn't always get traded, though. But, the calls are always being made.
Well, the first thing, yeah, number one, it's the hot property to trade out of potentially. But the other side of that, the flip side or the other part of that coin is who are the players that fell out of the first round that somebody might be trying to get. Gray Zabel, I think, being available would interest teams. This is actually not a ton of guys. I mean, Derek Harmon is super low on the PFF board, so he's fallen out in this one. Not a ton of guys that you would be like, this guy is a clear first round pick and he slipped out of the first round entirely, so we got to go get him.
You would say Harmon by the consensus board, again, PFF
Yeah.
being a little bit lower. I think Josh Connerly, man. I think there's a little groundswell for Connerly, at least going in the 20s. And I'll say this, the Browns have had an excellent offensive line situation for a few years now. That's dwindling, right? Pretty much all of their starters are either last year their contract or just getting a little bit older. This went from a non-need for a few years where they did a great job of building it up to much bigger need maybe than it's been in a while. I kind of like the depth there with Cornelius Lucas and Tevin Jenkins coming in, but I think goal line is a potential more of a long-term need here for the Browns. I'm not saying definitely go here, but Zabel I think should be in play. Josh Connerly should be. I think we should have that discussion. Compete at left tackle. DeJuan Jones moves back to right tackle. Jack Conklin's in the last year of his contract. He's hurt quite a bit. Could add some depth there. You don't get tackle options very often.
Yeah, it feels like, remember a couple of years ago where the Browns had built this incredible roster and then it started to erode and fall apart a little bit. And we were like, well, that's the end of that. And then they actually did do a good job of patching it back together again. They put themselves in position where it felt like, a year ago, this was going to be a really good team. And then it kind of fell apart again because of the quarterback situation. But it sort of feels like these are the cycles of having, a quarterback contract that's on the high end. It's really difficult to maintain a really pristine looking roster. You're going to have these low ebbs and try and patch them back together in an off season. So I think you can say, look, offensive line has got some patches that need to be done. I think you can say, obviously running back with Nick Chubb not being the player that he was coming back off injury, and them needing a Nick Chubb replacement. I think running back is on the table. So, would they be in the running back market? I think both the top two guys went, but Travion Henderson fell out of the first round. He's borderline consensus first round, right, by the overall board.
Hey, guys, just taking a quick break to tell you, hey, just over 50% of you are still unsubscribed to Check the Mic. It helps the channel. It helps to make sure that you don't miss any of our shows. So if you have a chance, hit the subscribe button right now. Is he up that high now, Travion? As of record
I think he's to
time,
a fringe first round. Let me find.
He's at 42 on the consensus board. I think that is the third running back, though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are pushing him into the first round conversation.
Yeah, if I'm the Browns again, I just think the Harmon pick is intriguing, right? Because we were sitting there discussing Abdul Carter and Myles Garrett and what would that look like? What would Harmon look like as an interior pass rusher with Myles Garrett?
Yeah,
they built up that defensive line for the 2023 season pretty well. That depth has been depleted a little bit. I just think both trenches have been they don't have the same depth, right? For two reasons. All the money going to Deshaun Watson and all the picks that went to Deshaun Watson. The depth on this team is depleted, and you have a fringe first rounder pick 33. I think you have to use it on a premium position in the trenches, offensive or defensive line here.
And then obviously you have the potential trade back options. The PFF sim is currently spitting 6 teams at you that are interested in that number 33 overall pick. The closest team to you is the Patriots at 38.
I mean, I would do that if I think in that next few, do I think Harmon, if I thought that Harmon or Connerly could be available, I'd be interested in that. Picking up an extra.
Well, I would imagine if the Patriots, who did they pick at the top of the draft? Because they could easily be making that move. Okay, so they got Abdul Carter. This is an unusual draft where Mason Graham actually goes ahead of Abdul Carter. Carter's available at 4. Patriots pounce on him at 4, so they pass up Will Campbell. In this scenario, you could imagine the Patriots, if they're making this trade, they're coming up for Connerly.
Probably, yeah. Now, I can't assume that the sim is going to do that, but we'll assume in real life, if we get to this point, that's the play that they're going for.
what would they
And I
need
kind
to
of like
give
those
up to
picks at
make that
69
happen?
and 77 there. So I don't know. Do you have any disagreement there? I think those are the two guys that I would look at closest there. Maybe Zabel. Zabel's another first round offensive lineman.
Yeah,
Joel
it could be
Bitonio getting
Zabel.
older.
But I think for the Patriots in particular, they would be looking offensive tackle. But the Browns could still be in. I mean, they could grab a
I'm
great
saying
Zabel.
Zabel
They
for
have,
us. For us as
yeah.
the Browns. I'm looking Connerly,
I'm just trying
Zabel,
to
or
see. Okay, the difference.
Derek Armstrong.
So 60, that would give. All right, 106 would be a 106, and we would have to give something back, or 144 and the lower pick.
We don't get to reap the benefits of this in our 3-round mock here, though.
That's true.
That's the thing. We just have to say, hey, trust us. We got an extra pick in this.
All right. Well, in which case, it's all kind of superfluous. So let's just kick back this and just make the trade happen.
Oh, we are trading back? All right.
Yeah. Right.
All right. If my players out
is there anyone you're trading back 5 spots? You have 3 pretty clear targets. I mean, and even if you budget the idea that Josh Connolly is probably their pick, I would trade back to pick up 106, like one of the top picks in the 4th round.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's fine. Let's do it. I hope one of the guys falls. I mean, I like a lot of players in this range, so I would probably do this. Let's see who the Pats took Zabel because he's in as a tackle. Connerly's off the board. Is Harmon still there after they crushed his ADP? Oh, all our players. So this happens a lot on draft night, Sam. This is why it's difficult being in the draft room. You're sitting there saying, I got one of 3 guys that I'd be willing to take. Let's move back 6 spots, and all 3 of them are gone. That's a tough pill to swallow. I'll say this. I love the cornerback depth now. Now I'm going to corner. I see your guy there. I see your guy Swinson.
I mean, look, this whole little world here. This is a pretty nice little alley of talent. The cornerbacks, Braden Swinson, the LSU edge rusher. I mean, edge rusher is not a huge need for Cleveland, but Donovan Jackson, the offensive lineman with tackle guard versatility, Darius Alexander, I think is value at this spot as well.
We're getting, from a corner perspective, we're getting to the end of contracts for Martin Emerson, Greg Newsome, some uneven play from them in recent years. Javon Ravel is a guy I think was absolutely a first-round talent prior to his injury. Should be back healthy. He's a guy that I would think about. And then some of the players that you just mentioned there. So I love the corner depth here. I wonder if there's defensive line help, though, that might make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I mean, Darius Alexander, either of the 2 trench options there. Darius Alexander, the defensive tackle from Toledo, or Donovan Jackson, the versatile offensive lineman from Ohio State, would make a ton of sense.
Jackson's interesting. I don't think he's a full-time tackle. I know he did that pretty well at Ohio State, but versatile guy with the aging left guard, Joel Bitonio, still a question mark at left tackle generally. Might be a good fit here. Keep him home.
Yeah, I wouldn't be sure he can't start a tackle, though.
I know you're of the belief that he might be able to. Do you want to do that? You want to go Donovan Jackson here?
I would pick one of those 2 trench options.
I like Darius Alexander better as a player. I'll just say that.
Okay.
So you make the call. You make the final. I'm good with either guy, though.
Well, we got to pick
both local-ish options.
Right. Well, let's go with Darius Alexander. We'll see what's.
I'll say, Sam, I got to say, though, happy with Darius Alexander. Nice addition. I think he can rush the passer, help Myles Garrett. Those are the perils of trading down, though. I would be kicking myself in the draft room. I preach on check the mic. I preach trade down, trade down, trade down. But much like New England trading down and missing out on Ladd McConkey, and what we just did, we traded down and missed out on 3 players we said we would take at that spot. We missed out on all of them.
Well, particularly when you're talking yourself into it by like, man, we're only dropping 5 spots. There's 3 guys at least that we love. Like, I'm sure at least one of them will be there. And then literally 3 of the next 4 picks, I think, were the 3 guys that you would have had atop the board.
All right, so we have pick 67 here and then 77, right? Our 2
67 and then 94 is what we have.
Oh, I thought we had something closer. Okay, so we got our 2 third-round picks here. Benjamin Morrison is staring me in the face here, top of the third. Right. I think he's a fringe first type of player, another corner coming off injury. He's the first guy. Your guy, Jalen Royals, at receiver. is sticking out. Tate Ratledge at guard. I think he's a great value play anytime from pick 50 on. We're sitting here at 67. Some decent options here, Sam. Jalen Knoll. Now, we already have a receiver in Travis Hunter, right?
At this point, I think Benjamin Morrison is a steal.
Yeah, I completely agree. That guy, they were talking about him going in the top 15, and I don't think it was his on-field play that dropped him. I mean, some inconsistency last year before the injury, but I think that dude can play. I would love him top of the third. And I think this is realistic on draft night. There's going to be some good players here top of the third round that are available.
Yeah. We do that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Now all the way to 94 and see who's left.
All right. Now, Kyle Williams is here, wide receiver from Washington State.
For our running back need,
Damian
that's
Martinez.
A really intriguing name at the bottom of the third round.
I like his physicality, man. What other running backs are available here? We did our in-depth running back show, and I think once you get right around 7 or 8, I liked Devin Neal, Damian Martinez. I think I like Martinez here.
I think Martinez is really good value here. This is a big, fast, physically talented running back.
End of the third.
Breaks a lot of tackles, got versatility. I think he's done well in multiple different schemes as well. I mean, I think that's bottom of the third round. I think and he's really young as well. I love that pick.
Browns like to draft him young. They like skewing younger in their draft picks generally. Guys get to their second contract just a little bit quicker. That'd be a nice haul, I think. Travis Hunter, Darius Alexander, Benjamin Morrison, and then another. You got an offensive and defensive pick at first, 2 defensive picks, and then Damian Martinez, a running back, late third. You want to do it?
Yep.
Let's do it. Browns fans, what do you think? How do we do? What would you have done differently? Who did we miss on here? Let us know in the comments. Your Browns 3-round mock draft: Travis Hunter, Darius Alexander, Benjamin Morrison, and Damian Martinez. Hit the subscribe button if you want some more Browns takes. Oh, we got an A? Nice work.
We got an A.
Good work all around. Happy drafting, Browns fans. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.